time to jump into topic number 2. So that was more for sellers. This one is more for buyers. Although rents are going up a lot, it's still easier to find a good deal on a rental than it is to find a good deal on buying a home. Agree or disagree? Michael?
Actually, I disagree. I'm working with a lot of buyers that are tenants currently right now, and when we run the numbers, I mean, you can actually buy a property with 3.5% down FHA, and your mortgage with your property tax and interest and insurance is almost less than what you would pay for rent. So, you know, you're not having to come up with 20% down conventional on some of these purchases. So rental rates are going up. I was reading an article the other day where they're projecting by 2018 rents are going to go up another $200 to $300 a month in certain areas, and average renter will spend around 40% of their income just on rent. So if you're going to spend that much income on your rent, might as well put it towards your principal and own the property. So when I'm running the numbers with my clients, it's definitely a lot better to buy than to rent currently right now.
Okay, makes sense. Kate?
I mean, I agree with that too. Obviously, if you've got the income and you've got the stability and you're pre-approved and you have the down payment to do so, go for it. But I think more the question is are people out there able to get a better deal on a rental versus buying right now? Again, we know we're in a seller's market. We know that prices are high. So with rentals, they're also going up too. And so I kind of feel like there's some investors that don't live in San Diego that might live outside of the market, or some investors that own properties here that don't really know the trend of what's going on with the rental increase. So when I work with buyers, they say, well, find us a good deal. You know, it's like, it's tough to find a good deal because there's not really good deals in the market to buy a property because there's no good deals right now. But with that said, with rent, a lot of times investors have been renting their properties for years and years and years and depend on a certain amount of income per month. And they're just wanting to keep that because they're making $1,000 a month and that's paying the bills that they need to get paid, and they're happy. And so sometimes it is more of a better shot to be able to find a better deal on a rental because those investors don't know what's going on. Where people that are selling their houses right now are usually selling it with agents who know the market, who are going to tell them how to price the property. And the small margin of people that are not selling with agents price it usually too high because, as we know, sellers who price their own homes see their houses like their child. It's the most unique, it's the most special, it's the prettiest, it's better than anything else on the whole block. And so they're always pricing it, usually tend to price it too high and then have to go to an agent to help them because they can't sell it most of the time. It's definitely obviously better to buy every single time because you're paying your own mortgage and you're not paying anyone else's mortgage, and then you're investing in your own assets. So yeah.
Makes sense.
And then, you know, to add to that, I think it's a lot of landlords don't have an idea what the rental rate is in that area.
Yeah.
So a lot of the landlords are not keeping up to date of what's renting, you know, especially if they have a condo complex in a specific area.
They haven't caught like wind of
They haven't caught up. They haven't even caught up with the market going up.
It's been so recent.
Yeah, it's been so recent.
Yeah.
And I was dealing with a client the other day where he's renting at $400 below market.
Right.
So, I mean, they're just not up to date with what the rental rates are.
Yeah.
So.
Makes
But
sense.
you know, I go back to your point, and you mentioned something about instability, and buying a home provides stability. You know, at least my feeling is with interest rates being low, prices even going up on an upward trend, I think it is still easier and smarter to buy if you are in that position to do so. And I'm thinking for the long term and the fact that interest rates are low. Are you along that lines as far as the interest rate? I'm looking, yes, that's a good sign. So okay, that's good.
He's
okay.
I like where you're going. Continue.
Keep talking. That's what that look means. Well, Sean, I think this is kind of, I don't know if this is in your wheelhouse or not, but on the rental side, you see people coming from renters and turning into buyers, but you've also owned investment properties, so you know what it's like, you know, to have renters involved and even, what do we call them, vacation rentals, in fact. So do you agree or disagree that it's easier to find a good rental versus a good home to buy?
It really kind of depends on what area that you're looking in right now. I think that a lot of the time, if you're looking at like the beach areas or downtown, you're going to be able to find something that is a little bit more reasonably priced compared to actually owning. If you want to own, you know, in like Mission Beach or Pacific Beach or, Mount Soledad or La Jolla compared to what your actual rent cost is, the rent is normally like the better or the easier route to go. If you're, again, like, those are only very sub-markets, like what Martin was talking about. But if you're talking about like on a mass and saying like a generalization of, is it easier to buy? I think that if we look at any real estate ever on a long-term basis, buying a primary residence is a fantastic direction because that is your home, that's your stability, you can stay there, no one's going to be increasing or decreasing. I don't really sell 5-1 and 7-1 arms for the simple fact that I say, if you want a 5-1 arm, then you have to show me how you're going to pay this off in 5 years. And if you don't have that, I'm going to offer you a 30-year fix. And if you don't want to go with me because of that, then here's my competitor. Just because I stand behind my product a lot.
Good for you.
I think I probably only did about 4 or 5 actual 5-1 and 7-1 arms, and every single person could guarantee that they could pay it off in their first 5 or 7 years.
I see what you're saying about the La Jolla thing, though, and some of those bigger markets, the Del Mars and stuff like that, where it's 1.3 million for anything.
1.7 million, 5 days on the market. I can go and rent that house for $6,000 a month, but my mortgage payment, I'm putting down $500,000, and I got $10,000 or $12,000 every single month coming out of my pocket. That's a lot different. Yeah. I could have taken that $300,000 or $500,000 and gone over to a couple investments or a small apartment complex or like small retail or something like that and got a better cap rate while I'm actually paying rent at somebody else's house. It really just kind of depends on what you're looking at, but I think on like a not investment but a primary, I think that it's always a great idea. But the problem with our society is that as soon as we make $50,000, we want to sell.
Right.
And if we just had that longevity and said, let's not sell at $50,000, let's get that thing out 10. I want to be in my house for 10 or 15 years. That's really where we start to capitalize on our investment. You get for first $250,000 for free, or $500,000 if you're married. Well, hey, max that out. But if you reach the $500,000, sell and start over. It's the only tax-free. So those baby boomers that kept them for like 30 years, I made $1 million. That's great. You got taxed on $500,000 of that. You should have got to $500,000, taken your $500,000 for free, and started over again.
Woo! Fantastic point, Sean. Great stuff. Really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for your time. It's a great real estate discussion.
Yeah,
awesome.
Stick around for next time on the Real Estate Debate, where we debate the hottest topics in San Diego real estate. We'll see you then.